You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia.
What is good, man? I already said it already in the intro, so you already know. But we are also powered by Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Your hosts are myself, Wole, and the homie Glenn. And the homies Ray Jeezy, and Mo are out. What's going on, Glenn?
Nothing much, brother. I'm ready. Preseason games, saw some good things, saw some bad things. And I just want to talk Washington Commanders football. Football season is here for all the Washington Commander fans, friends, haters, whatever case may be.
I know, right?
Football season is here.
It's here, man. It's that time, man. And like Glenn mentioned, this is the post-game show of the Washington Commanders, Carolina Panthers game. The Washington Commanders fell to the Carolina Panthers 23-21. Hey, you can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also, tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Hey, Glenn, let's get right into it, man. I mentioned the Washington Commanders fell to the Carolina Panthers 23-21. But who impressed you the most today in that game for the Washington Commanders?
And who impressed me the most was Carson Wentz. I want to tell you why. Carson Wentz, I really wanted to see Carson Wentz get out there and play and how he would operate with this first team. Got off to a rocky start, right? It was, I think, 3 and out. Got off to a rocky start, but once he settled down, we saw Carson Wentz. He was 10 for 13 at one time. He ended up being 10 for 13. I think he did what he's supposed to do with his offense. He did nothing too far deep down the field, but he got the ball to guys in space, right? And those guys in space was able to make people miss. He got the ball to Terry McLaurin for 16 yards. And so he was able to get the ball to some of the playmakers, and we saw what he could do. He was very consistent. Right, very consistent, very smart plays. Didn't take any bad sacks or anything of that nature. So we saw, and the offensive line was able to keep him clean, and that's what you want if you are the Washington Commanders. What you want to take from there is the offensive line was able to keep him clean. He was able to stand in the pocket and deliver, and he was consistent and a high percentage with the football, which I thought was great for this Washington Commanders offense. We saw them do a lot of different things, and we even saw them get Curtis Samuel involved as well, right, with the little screens and things that he did. So. It was good to see. I'm not going to say the guy's name. It was good to see them open up things a little bit.
Hey, yeah, I'm with you. I thought that Carson Wentz looked good. Carson Wentz was 10 for 13 in the passing game for 74 yards, led the team to a touchdown drive where the rookie Brian Robinson from Alabama, had a rushing touchdown. The homie George, what's up, George? Glenn, can you pull that back up? I do want to read his comment. I didn't see it. All right, the rare preseason game that was more enjoyable than not. I agree, George, definitely was. But yeah, another guy I just mentioned, the running back from Alabama and Robinson, man. Oh my God, 6 carries, 26 yards, and we'll talk about why he came a little earlier and got a bunch of the carries, but he was effective, man. I heard that Doc Walker kind of compared him to Stephen Davis, and I was like, you know what? That's not a bad comp because Stephen Davis was a bull. He was a physical running back for the Washington Commanders at the time, Washington Redskins. But Brian Robinson was impressive, man. He fit the part. He looked like a running back. He was just that dude to me. I felt like he leaned forward. It wasn't like he was going backwards. He leaned forward. He was stuck. He'd give you an extra couple yards leaning forward. He just looked like the traditional running back. I looked at I saw initially in the game, I thought Montez Sweat was getting a bunch of hurries. I thought that he looked impressive to me. I thought Bobby McCain safety. I know he gets a lot of flack, but I felt like in terms of playing that last line of defense, he was effective. He had a key knockdown with him and William Jackson III had a key knockdown where he made the play. So I thought there were some good things by the Washington Commanders defense. We'll talk about some of the stuff we didn't like, but I want to stay positive for a little bit. But those are the things that I thought stood out. Also, I want to give a shout out to Jonathan Williams. the other running back. I thought he ran hard. He was effective. So I just thought there's some in the running game. There was a bunch of individuals who played well.
Yeah, the running game, Jonathan Williams did play very well. Other guy, like I told you, we talked about offline, and that's seeing Stephen Parker, man. Stephen Parker.
Safety.
Stephen Parker.
Safety.
That safety, Stephen Parker, is that dog, man. And you see that guy, the kid, he came out, first time we saw Stephen Parker, he hits the guy, helmet falls off. But even late in the game, breaking passes up, always being around the football. And that's what you want, right? He's not a rookie. He's been there for 3 years. He's been around for 3 years, an Oklahoma grad. So you want to see Stephen Parker, which is a young guy who trying to make a football team, right?
Yes.
And that's what you want, right? You want the guys who are trying to make a football team lay it out there. And I think Stephen Parker, see what he does in the next 2 games. But today he laid it out there. And I think Stephen Parker should be on this roster somewhere, whether special teams, whatever case may be, because that kid right there wants to play. If you really watch the game, he was always around the football. And that's what you want. You guys who are always around the football do very well.
So you think he's gonna make the team, or you think he's gonna make the team? Or you don't think just like a one game type of thing? Because he did ball out. He was physical. That's what I liked about him.
For what I saw, he's a physical guy. I don't know how he is in the locker room. Don't know what he's in the locker room. But on game, what I saw in the game, that's the type of guy that you want on this team, right? A guy that he doesn't settle for anything less. Another guy from a Power 5 program, right? Oklahoma, right? So they're used to winning. Right?
Yes.
Don't like losing, who has a good mindset. So when you got guys like from Ohio State, you got guys from Alabama, you got guys from Oklahoma who don't like losing. Not only do they do not like losing, they're not used to losing, and they know how to play at a high level. You keep those guys in your organization and you keep those guys in your program so they can continue to push the guy ahead of them to be that much better. And we talk about it all the time. Washington need depth in this area. So why not have someone that can play the game and has experience continue to be there? Now we'll see what he do in the next 2 games, but he really impressed me today. That this safety spot that I like Parker, Stephen Parker.
Yeah, I thought Parker was good, man. And we gotta talk about the rookie, man. We ain't talking about him, but let's keep it a buck, man. The rookie quarterback from out of North Carolina, Sam Howe. Boy, that boy look nasty. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I know it's preseason, but there's something about when a player has it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about, you can see it. Like, I know it's one preseason game. I'm not saying he's going to be all world and whatever, but you could tell, like, he's a playmaker. Like, he breaks tackles. He extends plays. The football comes crisp out of his hands. Like, he's accurate. He fits the part of a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looks good. I'm not going to say that he's going to compete with Carson Wentz for the starting job. I'm not going that far. I thought Carson looked good. Like, I thought Carson looked really good. But I was highly impressed with Sam Howe. And I got shout out to Candy Waller, who was on the show, and she talked about Sam Howe being a quarterback who looked best in training camp. She talked about that.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Sam Howe. One thing I like about him, if you ever look at when the pocket did break down, he's always looking downfield, right? He's trying to find the open guy. He's not taking off. Then the first thing he want to do is run. He wants to get the ball downfield. If you look at on the touchdown play when he ran the ball in the end zone, he's looking to get the ball downfield. Even when he broke the line of scrimmage and he was one-on-one with I believe it was a safety that was one-on-one with, and he realized, oh, dang, I have no other receivers. He stuck his head down and try to punch it in the end zone. He didn't try to run anybody else. He didn't try to outrun anybody to the left or to the right. He was like, you know what? I'm physically enough. I'm strong enough. I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to punch it in his end zone. And when you think about it, he really kind of brought the team back on his shoulders.
Yes.
2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. In a matter of 7 to 8 minutes, there was this Washington offense. Hey, to me, this guy has a level to be a good quarterback in this league, and I'm glad he's getting a lot of time in the preseason. And he's sitting in the room with great guys, man. Carson Wentz, good dude, right? And so he's sitting in the room. He's learning how to play this game, and he's getting some experience here. And I think Sam Howe may be a Washington Commander for a future. And Taylor Heineke may want to watch his back.
Oh, I think so, man. I think so. I'm going to read a tweet from the homie Cameron. We're talking about who impressed him. He said, I'm going to have to say Carson Wentz. He started kind of slow, then picked it up. And his last drive that led to Brian Robinson's touchdown. I thought Carson looked good, man. I really did. I thought he picked it up. I thought that there were some plays. I think that, we'll talk about it in terms of some of our low spots, but the fumble with Gibson kind of ruined one of his drives. I was impressed. I'll say this for the coaching staff as a whole. I was impressed, and I thought it was positive. They kept the offense out there a little longer than we expected. I thought that maybe Carson would get a drive, but you could tell like they weren't happy with the way the offense worked as a whole. That obviously they were like, okay, we're going to keep them out and get some positive spirits, right? Some positive vibes about their offense. So I was happy that Coach Rivera went that route. It wasn't like, man, that first drive, he did his first drive, nothing happened. So, okay, it's over. It's like, nah, coach it to give these dudes confidence going into the next game and the game after that or whatever. Give these guys confidence. And I will say, I didn't really talk about this, but I thought the offensive line was good too as a whole. I was impressed with the offensive line. I thought they did a great job, all of them. You know what I mean? I thought that the quarterbacks who were there had time in the pocket. I was very impressed with the offensive line.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with the offensive line, as I mentioned earlier. Didn't give up sacks. There was open running lanes. If you saw the holes that the running backs had, how they was pressuring, even when short yardage, right? They was getting off the football, getting that extra yard, getting that initial push that you want to see from a offensive line, right? 4th and 2, your 4th and 3s that you can get. They can push off the line and get that extra yard. Even on Sam Howe's touchdown run, right? The quarterback sneak on 4th and 1, 4th and I'm gonna call it 4th and 1 for the sake of argument, right?
Yeah.
He had a good push there, condensed the defense in, and Howe was able to bounce on the outside and walk into the end zone. Good on his thought to see it get pushed in. So again, the offensive line, first and second group offensive line, I thought did very well today, which it's an improvement from this for this offensive line. And what happened, they're growing together. They're young guys and they're building together. Even when they talked about, I forgot who it was, that his wife had the baby. They're doing unity stuff, right? They're keeping together and keeping everything together. And that's what you want for your offensive line.
Leno? I think it was Leno. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Which and Doc talked about it. You want the offensive line to be family. I mean, as a high school coach, that's what we do. We keep our offensive line together, right? We keep them together, want to do everything together, sit together, talk together, be together in meetings, because you want them to be able to trust each other and know that they have each other's back. And I saw that today with the Washington Commanders, that this offensive line can create a lot of running opportunities for this team. If the more they can run, whether it's by committee or by one person, it will help Carson Wentz out in the play action. We saw a little bit of play action today from Carson Wentz as well. So that's because you only can do play action when you have a running game, right? You establish a run. And that was big to me. I wanted to see that the offensive coordinator, I wanted to see what his first play was, and it was a running play. And we said this all the time last year, this team can be dominant in the run. Yeah. And if they are dominant in running, open everything else up. It just make them that much more versatile and dangerous.
Yeah, I thought they did some good things. I felt like they were they were very run oriented, which I did like. I know it's the preseason, so I'm not gonna hold them to that. But they were run oriented. Again, I liked Jonathan Williams. I liked obviously what Robinson did. Even later on in the game, what Patterson did too as well for this ball club. So Jared Patterson, the second-year player. So I just thought that the mindset was different. I was a big fan of Sam Howell. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very impressed. This is the first time I've truly got to watch him. I won't lie, like I watched a bunch of North Carolina games. I didn't. I know that he was highly touted for a while to be like a first-round pick, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of the season, people kind of like, you know how it is in the draft. They dissect you, and then they kind of start to get a little negative, and then you drop in the draft. But yeah, I was impressed with him, man. I really was. I thought that he played pretty well. I won't be redundant with him. But in terms of the team as a whole and some of the positives, I like the line play. I like the running backs. I like that Carson Wentz utilizes the tight ends, consistently, the young dude Rodgers. I like how he utilized them. And I liked really a lot what Carson was doing in the game was that he wasn't forcing it. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't forcing. Yeah, he was a little late at some plays, but he wasn't forcing it. He had a tight end, check down, he took it. You know what I mean? Like he took his shots. He took a shot with Scary, went off his hands a little bit. He had one that was a pass interference to me that didn't call. But all in all, like I thought that, after the initial struggles for the offense, I thought that he looked good. Sam Howell looked good. But we've been talking about the good a lot. Now it's time to talk about the bad.
You want to talk
about good? You want to go to it? Okay, I got you, man.
One more good, and I got to give this guy props. J.D. McKissick, right? That big third down.
Always looks good, man. He always looks good, man.
Always look good. Third down, and we know Carson Wentz likes check downs and tight ends. And you mentioned earlier it was 3rd and 4, and he checked down to J.D. McKissick. McKissick picked up 16 yards to extend the drive, which is great. So that's going to be dangerous on 3rd down when you have J.D. McKissick, Jahan Dotson, as well as Terry McLaurin on the field at the same time, and Logan Thomas. That's going to be, and it's a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 situation. And then you have a running back, maybe Robinson or Gibson. I'm going to still throw Gibson in there. But he has one. Gibson in there. Look, I said it. I mean, y'all know I've been preaching it ever since last year. If the guy fumbles, he can't play, right? Yeah. You can't put the ball on the ground. I don't care how good you are. You can't trust him. So you can't trust you. We got to win football games. We can't be in a big-time situation. Washington Commanders can't be in a big-time situation, and he put the ball on the ground. And the league knows this. I think I texted you. The league knows that he fumbled. So now everybody's going to be punching at the ball, hitting the ball. And this one wasn't – you got to say technically it wasn't his fault. It wasn't like he was bobbling, but he didn't have it strong enough that when the Carolina Panthers defender came in and punched the ball out, it was able to come out of his hands. He needs that tight grip. But again, J.D. McKissick is one of the good things that I saw. I'm glad he signed back with the Washington Commanders this year. It's going to be good.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go to the negative. You mentioned it already. You mentioned the fumble of Antonio Gibson. Man, this is crazy. He fumbled again, which led to a touchdown drive led by Sam Darnold. He consistently has this issue. He had this issue in camp. I was reported that he fumbled a few times in camp. And obviously we know what happened last season. He had another fumble. Glenn, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk about it now. Like, should Coach Rivera say scrap it? Like, you know what? We see what we got from Robinson. He's more reliable. We're gonna have you as a backup at this point in time until you show us something different.
Yeah, I think so. I think you get a true running back, right? He is a true running back. This experiment with Antonio Gibson, to me, if he can't hang on to the football, it's over with, right? It's over with. It's an experiment. You transferred him from a wide receiver to a running back. Let's not forget, right? They got rid of course, he got in trouble. Darius Geis, right? Yeah. He got in trouble. And he had to go out of town. Not forget that we got rid of Adrian Peterson a year and went with Antonio Gibson, where Antonio Gibson could have learned from one of the best running backs.
I talk about that all the time. Go ahead, man.
Right. One of the best running backs ever. And now Antonio Gibson could be peaking in this area, right? Now he could be the guy because he would have learned behind Adrian Peterson. He would have learned if Darius Geis wouldn't have got in trouble, learn behind the Geis. So now the experiment, we're going into the 3rd year of the experiment, and it's not working. He's still putting the ball on the turf. Now you have a true running back from Alabama, right? He's from Alabama. He played under Nick Saban. He played in national championship games. If you look at it today, he learned how to square his shoulders. His shoulders square running as a running back. He run downhill. I think you mentioned it earlier that he falls forward, right? He falls forward. And so again, he's not trying. He knows what his limitations is, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna go downhill. I'm not gonna try to bounce and beat anybody to the outside. If you transfer, so Antonio Gibson will be a spot down back if possible. Make him the number 2. That's fine. Let this competition keep going, and it may help him. I know he's beating himself up that he put the ball down on the turf and got pushed back, but at the same time, you can't have the fumble issues. I mean, go back to the New York Giants. They had to deal with Tiki Barber.
He fixed it though. He fixed it. Tiki Barber fixed his. Antonio Gibson haven't fixed his yet. I'm always a big proponent of, if you're a true running back, let it be a true running back. Sometimes transferring guys to different positions doesn't work. If you got a room for Gibson as receiver, if you got room for Gibson, I don't know if he can return kicks because we hurt in that department. That's my negative. I'm not going to go there right there. Yeah, I wouldn't have him. That's a whole different thing. So I ain't going to even talk about. I don't know if he's ready for. I don't think I can't. To me, I can't even trust you. If I can't trust you to run the football between the tackles, I can't trust you to run the football on kickoff return, punt returns, man.
So the question is, with the running backs that the Washington Redskins, excuse me, I might say that.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. It happens, man. We still do. We all do it.
That the Commanders have right now, Gibson is. I guess the question I ask you and everybody else is Gibson expendable? Can they afford to just cut Gibson and keep Robinson and keep Williams?
I don't think you can cut him, but I do think you can trade him. I think that discussion should be out there. I'll put it that much. I think when you see a guy like Jonathan Williams, You got Jared Patterson.
Yeah, Jared
right?
Patterson.
And you got McKissick already. Like, all right, if the idea is that we're gonna play him more in the passing games, well, you already got McKissick. The idea is we can run him back up, and we can just run him as the number 2 running back. I mean, you've already put a lot of clout in him, but you can have a cheaper value in Jonathan Williams, to me, who runs just as hard. You know what I'm saying? So, because at the end of the day, like you said, you got to be able to trust him. Like, it's starting to get to a point where I know fans, I've heard people say, well, I'm just hoping he gets over it. Like, bro, you are who you are. It gets to a point, like you just talked about it. The fumbling thing, even he didn't fumble a lot last season. His rookie year in terms of losing the ball, but he fumbled. It's just that he didn't lose a lot. He fumbled, like, because he's loose with the ball. Like, it's a thing of his. He is loose with the ball. And you referenced Tiki. At least Tiki tried to fix it. Like, it gets to a point where you ain't even fixing it, man. And it's like, I don't know if you're stubborn. I don't know if you work on it hard enough. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it is what it is. But I know this. We watch football. We've seen the great coaches of all time. And if you keep fumbling, they don't play you. Like, they don't play you. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm going to name a back here that was good when I was younger watching. Reggie Brooks was good for Washington. He was in Notre Dame. Same issue. Kept fumbling. Eventually, how he found his way out of here is because he kept fumbling. He was out of this team and out of the league for real. So I'm just saying, like, you can be that dude, but if you fumble, you fumble. Oh, George said if Jonathan Williams plays that well again, then you can bet he won't get through waivers or stay hidden on the practice squad. I agree. I think that you may have to keep him because he played well last season as well a little bit. So I'm just saying, like, I like what I saw from Jonathan Williams. And to your point, to what you were saying, Glenn, I think that you can't cut him because you need value because he was a 3rd-round pick, I believe. You should trade him.
And trade him and get value for him. But then again, who wants a running back? What trade value do you have a running back that fumbles? Now, mind you, someone may believe, oh, we can fix him. And there's always that person, oh, I can fix him, bring him in, and we'll take care of him. But at this point right now, we can't trust him on the field. I mean, to me, if you're the coach, if you're that offensive coordinator, do you run the ball in the 4th quarter with him?
Do I run the ball with him?
I mean, not with Antonio Gibson. I mean, Gibson was your running back. Do you give him the ball in the key situation in the 4th quarter? Let's look at some of his fumbles last year. He fumbled inside the 10 going into the end zone.
You're talking about the one that gets the Chargers, right?
Yeah, once against the Chargers, right? Think about it at the end of the Carolina game, right? He fumbles the ball at the end of the Carolina game, but he gets it back in a key situation. In a key situation again in the Carolina game. He didn't go out of bounds. He went out of bounds, but he should have took a knee and kept the clock running. So it becomes football IQ. You begin to question his football IQ with Antonio Gibson. Like, what are you doing here as a running back and you didn't do as a wide receiver? Yeah, wide receiver, you ran the ball a little loosey-goosey. And I think he's a good player. He has that issue that he needs to overcome. And the overcoming issue is the fumble. He put on some weight. He gotten bigger. He thought that would be the issue. Well, if you gotten bigger and you put on weight, did you work on your hamstring? So hamstring. Now, the problem is, some of y'all old reference, I'm going to do old reference. We might have to go to the program with him, right? He need to go around.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
in DC and carry the football, right? If anybody brings the football back from Antonio Gibson, get a free ticket to the game or free, so whatever case may be, teammates get it, you get $100. Or he got to pay $100. Do something so he can hang on to the football.
Yeah, and this ain't a bashing Antonio Gibson show because I'm with you, Glenn. I think that he has playmaking ability. You know what I'm saying? The one thing he's missing is, like, he's not a runner. I mean, he's a running back playing, wide receiver playing running back. You know what I'm saying? But, like, ball security is important, man. It really is, So hopefully he gets that situated because he is a talent. I do think there's some things you can do with him to help this offense out. Another negative, we mentioned this, before we started this live, is the special teams, man. We'll start with that. The field goal kicker, Joey Sly, who missed the extra point after the touchdown run with Brian Robinson to make it, and they were supposed to be 10-7, but it was 10-6. Should the kicking situation be a concern?
Yes. I want to flash you. Yes. I mean, you can tell us a concern about Ron Rivera. Let's be honest. If you go down to Ron I know I said, oh, Ron went for 2 because he went for the win. No, Ron went for 2 because he couldn't trust his kicker to tie it up.
I think he went for the win because preseason. I think because it's preseason.
No, I looked at it like I can't trust my kicker. I can't trust the dude. And we at least wanted to lead, so tie it up. Yeah. So I just don't think this organization under Ron Rivera has had issues with kickers. We had 3 kickers. 3 kickers. The organization had 3 kickers last year, and finally found Sly like, oh, this may be the guy. And I'm gonna give Sly a break on this. If you go back to the field goal, the holder did bobble the snap.
Oh, yeah.
And bobble the snap and threw the timing off a little bit. But at the same time, you're a professional. Let's get that bad boy down. And
you're professional. You just said it, Glenn. You're professional. This is an extra point, and the way you missed it was horrible, man. Come on, like I'm just like, dude. Some of the same things still emerge, man, with this team. I just mentioned special teams with Sly. Man, the kickoff return, man. Like I know that a lot of people are like, man, we don't need DeAndre Carter, bruh. It's a big difference. Like DeAndre Carter was giving you plus yardage, playmaking ability as a kickoff returner. People were terrified of him, man. He was arguably a Pro Bowl caliber returner, and you got Erickson, and I don't know who else, man. Like Erickson was horrible. I'm sorry, he was trash. And the other individual, I don't like being reckless and rude like that, but good guy, man. Like the other one I forgot his name, but he was halfway decent. But
terrible,
man. Like terrible. You can't. Come on, man. Like Erickson, man. I would play Dax Mills over Erickson as a returner.
I would put De'Ami Brown back there. I'm sorry.
I would play. Yeah, I would play. I know people would think I'm crazy, but I'm a Michigan fan. I watched dude play out of because I'm a Michigan fan, so obviously I've seen the enemy enough in Ohio State. I know because he's injury prone. I'd make Curtis Samuel return because that's how dynamic of a dude he is. Like that's more of his speed for real. But I know people are going to be like, well, you paid him so much money, you're going to have a return, and if he get hurt, you're not going to get an investment of. And the investment of why you brought him here. I'm like, man, bro, you ain't see this dude return. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's special as a return.
You need a field position. You don't need to start on the 25 every time. You can start on the 30, or you can start on the 40, right? Yeah. The 45. Yeah, somewhere man. Like that will help this offense move down the field a little bit more and put you in score position, right? And I'm about to say field goal range, but we just talked about that. But score position. So I mean, that's one of the things that they need to find a kickoff return dude. Return dude will be something that will be tremendous.
Tremendous. Another thing I didn't like, I think was similar to what it was like we saw prior, is like, third down efficiency. Like the Panthers were 11 for 18 on third down. Initially, even with the starters, I think it was a wild number, like 9 for 13 for a while with the starters or whatnot, or something like that, some wild number. The starters are maybe the second string, but man, like people were running free, and I'm a big believer in this, Glenn. See if you agree. You're a coach, and you can vibe with me or not. And can't find the running stats or whatever. I'm gonna talk about third down first before I go into playing the run. I'm a believer the defense is attitude, right? You know what I'm saying? It's attitude. You're not scheming anything up. Everything's vanilla. It's your man versus my man. You beat me, I beat you. Especially in preseason, and I just didn't see that, man. I ain't see no friction. I ain't gonna let you get me type of mentality. I know Doc talked about it during the game. Was like, man, I don't see no fight through. You know what I mean? I just see people being real passive, and that's what I saw with this defense. And it's similar to what I saw last season. And I just think that it needs to get to a point where, like, this squad need to start, kicking it up. And I want to read, what did George say on
I was talking about special teams.
Oh, he said, be nice if we, George posted, be nice if we spent a 5th or 6th round pick on a quality returner once in a while. Like, I agree. But yeah, I would also like back to what I was talking about. Like, man, I just would like to see this defense be aggressive, like really try to like impose your will. And I didn't see that in this game, like, especially for the first 2 units, especially the first unit. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned some good plays by I thought that Montez Sweat and Bobby McCain played well, but in terms of a whole, man, like you saw guys running open. Kendall Fuller got beat on the touchdown pass. You're gonna see better wide receivers, man. I don't know if y'all saw the Eagles play last night, but Jalen Hurts looked good. Look impressive, and like he's improved. And that team has talent at the wide receiver position. So you're going to see better receivers in your own division and throughout the season. And I just wasn't a fan of like the style of defense. I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, it's vanilla." Bruh, I get that on offense, but on defense, there's certain things that aren't vanilla, like stopping the run, like getting your man in the backfield, like getting to a running back or getting pressure on a quarterback. Like that's not schematic. That's me beating you. And I didn't see enough of that.
Maintaining your gap. You know what I'm saying? Just something just that simple. Maintaining your gap, right? Maintaining your area, dominating the offensive lineman. Some things on that nature will you have to show. And I think that they didn't show. I thought the secondary played better than the front four. And some
yes, I agree. I thought secondary played better than the front four. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and so that just and maybe it's just a one game jitter. I don't know. But that front four, we talk about it all the time. How great they are, how dominant they are. They need to be great and dominant. Yes. They need to be great and dominant across the board every time they step on the field. And that's one of the things that this organization needs to see, or this defense needs to see, is to put the offense in a great situation. Defense wins championships. Everybody said defense wins championships. Right now, if we're basing it off of championships, this defense is not there as of yet. And I know it's one preseason game. I'm not jumping off the fence.
No.
It's preseason, right? I'm just stating what we saw. I'm evaluating this game.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that defensively, looking at this defense, I didn't see a championship defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see it. I know people will say, like, oh, this defense is off talent. It was this, that, and the other. But I didn't see it.
Nah, as you mentioned, not getting off the football field. You have to get off the football field, right? That means 11 out of 18 third downs, Carolina was able to extend the drive. That means your defense is spending more time on the field. That means Carolina has more ball control. The Commanders usually have ball control and bad possession, right? And so Carolina in the beginning parts of the game, I'm not going to talk about the late because Washington ended up having ball control towards the end. But at the beginning parts of the game, this Carolina team, their first drive, they drove all the way down the field and scored a field goal. They was driving
easily.
I mean, Baker Mayfield looked like he was like Cleveland was stupid. So again, defense has to get off the football field, has to make tackles, and have to make plays.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like what you just mentioned, that first drive was annoying. Like it was. It's like because you're going to compare it to other competition. That's how I look at it. Like I'm going to compare it to playing against a solid team. Because a lot of people, if you came into the season, people would say that Washington, like a lot of the fan base would say that Washington's better than Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be objective, whose first teamers look better, Carolina or Washington?
Carolina did today.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it gets to a point where I got to go to the coaching staff and be like, yo, you got to get your guys prepared. Like, you got to stop talking about what talent is. Warren Sapp came in and said, this D-line is special. There's a lot of people and fans that feel like this offense could be one of the better offenses in football. Not to say you're not going to show our offense. So I'm not going to knock the offense, right? I'm not going to you're not going to see me somewhere. But I'm just talking about in terms of defense. Like you could play a certain way, bro. Like you could play with a certain level of ferocity. Like you saw even Carolina in their first drive against Washington defensively, their defense is hungry. Like, Washington's first drive, defense is hungry. So I just need to see that. I can't see what I saw before, like guys running wide open. Like I can't see that. I don't want to see that. There are a few plays, even with the first team, guys are running wide open. Like I don't need, like Danny Johnson was getting beat thoroughly. I don't know if anybody peeped that Danny Johnson was getting beat thoroughly. Like, don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to get to a point where everything is taken care of and they're sound. They're around the football. That's my thing I preach about defense. I need you around the football. I don't need you wide. Like quarterbacks can thread needles. I don't need you to be college wide open. College wide open shouldn't be happening if you want to be a stout defense. If you want to be a stout defense, make sure quarterback throws it through windows consistently. Then you're doing something. But if you're college wide open, that's a problem. So that's something I feel like they need to get situated. But Glenn, from this performance, does it change your mind of your thought process on this team?
No, it doesn't. Defensively, I think they'll come along. I think this offense will be able to put up points. We saw some of that today. I think they'll be able to maintain sustained drives. Again, they won the time of possession. I said all the time, if you win the time of possession, I think you can win the game. They had an opportunity to win the game here. And we're not even talking about the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game because, again, those are guys who are trying to make the team.
Yeah.
Those are guys who are trying to make.
Sam Howell flowers to win that last 3 minutes.
Oh no, give Sam Howell flowers. I'm talking about the last drive. Well, let's say I can't talk about the last drive, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Sam Howell did what he needed to do to impress the fan base, right? To kind of, and today he did what he needed to do to justify why we picked him, right? Because they had opportunity to pick. So you had opportunity to pick some other quarterbacks, Willis and those guys, right? And people are like, why they didn't pick Willis? Well, today Sam Howell shows you why they picked Sam Howell because he's the quarterback who didn't mind standing there and throwing the ball and keeping plays alive with his arm as well as his feet. So he's a dual threat. And when I say with his arm, somebody say, "What's Heineke can run too," but Heineke can't run and throw the ball down the field on a rope like Sam Howell did today, and was finding receivers. So the one that he threw to Harmon that just barely. That one that Harmon was out of bounds and came back in. He dropped. That's on Harmon.
That's on Harmon, man. That's on Harmon.
That's on Harmon. That ball went over the defender, barely went over the defender. Harmon had to collect. Truth be told, that's 6. If Harmon catches
turn around,
it's 6. So Sam Howell made a good throw there. So just look at Sam Howell's play. I think as of right now, this team and what we heard from people that's been at training camp, Sam Howell's doing a good job. I'm really impressed. Impressed with him. I'm impressed with Robinson today, with the way that he ran. We ain't gonna say it. I was impressed with the play call.
Yeah, play call wasn't bad. I mean, I think it's simple. I think he opened it up a little bit to get some successful players once everything was kind of like dormant initially. But I don't have no issue with that. I can't play call it in the offensive mind in the preseason. That's not a thing I'm gonna look for because I feel like you're supposed to hide it. I watched Joe Gibson out knowing that like you're not going to show you the whole game in the preseason. I've seen on the flip side, I've seen Steve Spurrier with everything in preseason. So I'm not going to like if everybody waiting on me to be I'm so-called the hater. I'm the Scott Turner hater. Like I'm not going to bash him right now. I'm not going to do that right now because to me that's unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like that's unfair. But I will say this though, in terms of like, did anything change my mind? And I do want to go into a Sam Howell question compared to Taylor Heineke. So I do want to go into that later, but I'm going to stick to the topic. I think it did change my mind a little bit. I think I'm a little bit more confident now in what Carson Wentz has to offer. I will say that I'm more confident. I came into the seat. I came in thinking the defense was going to step up. So now that kind of worries me because I don't think now, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not a believer in the defense right now. I'm just not. I need to see them play with force. And now I'm trying to think that did Sam Mills III, was he right of wanting to change certain things up, and was that Jack Del Rio wrong? Or was that an impact of him leaving? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think like what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to think what's up because I wasn't happy with how like the defense played in terms of, like I told you, playing with force. I just wasn't happy with that. But I think it has changed my mind on what this team is as a whole offensively. Because I do think that if Carson's going to be that decisive, willing to check the ball down, and if Scott Turner is going to be able to use the run game, I do think there's some good within the offense. I thought you saw Jahan Dotson get open. I mean, Carson missed him, but he was open. Scary Terry always gets open. That's what he does. Like you mentioned, utilizing Curtis Samuel. I thought De'Ami Brown looked good with Taylor Heineke on a couple plays. You know what I mean? Though I thought that Taylor Heineke set him up on one of the plays that almost got that man killed. But there were some good things. That's
what Taylor Heineke does, though. He set receivers up.
Yeah, he does set them up. He did the same thing with Scary. So I do think that, when you look at, for me, the performance, I think it changes my mind to positive, actually. I think in terms of the offensive, I think the offense can be special. You know what I mean? I can honestly say that. I think the offense can be special. The defense scares me. It does. Special teams scare me too. It scares me too. Because this is the thing that's now the norm. The special team issue is a norm now. It's been the norm for a while. So, and this thing has to change. But I know, Washington Commander fans who hear me, I think the offense couldn't be something. And I know if you heard this show a number of times, you know that Scott Turner, I'm saying his name, I'm gonna put his name out there, that I'm not the biggest Scott Turner supporter, but I do think he has the weapons and the players to do something here that hasn't been done in a while in terms of putting them numbers. And if he does it, it's great. It's a good look for him. It's a good look for this team. If he doesn't, it's a bad look on him because I do think they do have the weapons. Like, I'm gonna go back. They have the weapons to do some real nasty stuff offensively. So I think that I have some hope. I think that you can compete, and one thing you can improve on what was done defensively. You can improve on it, and they're still missing players. You're missing Chase Young, so you still have talent that's on the table. That's that can help your team if motivated and used correctly. So you do have players out there that can help your team out. But on the flip side, I do think that they need to. If I'm going in Monday, like practices on Monday or whatever, like Coach Rivera and Coach Del Rio need to get that defense sharp.
Yeah, I agree with that. Defense just need to watch out. When they didn't even talk about Mayo and how the linebacker core.
Oh, talk about
the linebacker core. I mean, they're not finding open gaps. When we see open gaps, I know they're not finding open gaps, finding a ball carrier. Mayo had about 6 tackles today, but again, you're a linebacker. You're supposed to be around the football. But you got to be able to. There were opportunities where could have stopped guys in the backfield, right, for 1-yard losses or opportunities to get sacks. Linebackers got to read, got to flow, and I think that may be an issue that we may have this year. And Holcomb has to step up and do it. I mean, he makes a lot of tackles, but they need another counterpart to go with him. I can't even remember if James Davis did anything today.
Yeah, I think he should. I think he should play more. Like, I mean, what I mean by that, I think he should play with the twos too.
Yeah, so I don't even know. So there's some names that you didn't call. So that linebacker spot needs to shore up here, especially if the front four not playing well. All the pressure is going to be on the linebackers to be able to galvanize things together until the front four can catch up. If you can't, then the secondary is going to keep getting toasted because, again, I don't care who you play. There are NFL quarterbacks. If you get an NFL quarterback 4 to 5 seconds to throw the football, he's going to find an open guy.
Oh, I agree. I think that's something that this team needs to really iron out. Because they have to, you have to. I just agree with you. I think that now, the linebacker situation is an issue. You have to get to a point where you're getting great play out of your linebackers, and you have to utilize, to me, Jamin Davis has all the ability. And if the thing is he's not, you're not confident in certain things, then you let him play. Just let him play. Let him play, man. Just let him play as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? Treat him like you would treat a rookie quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like a rookie quarterback, you give him a lot of work. Give him a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Give him all that work. But I'm with you. Nobody on terms of the linebacker core really stood out. So hopefully that improves. Especially as much as the preseason games go on, they'll be utilized even more. They'll stay in longer. I'm surprised how long this unit stayed in, offense and defense. To be honest with you, I think the defense stayed on for 2 series, and the offense stayed on for a few series.
Yeah, offense did 3 series. I think they wanted to see success. The thing is, they wanted to get in the groove and they wanted to see success. And you don't want preseason, you want to be successful. And so this team, and you want to leave on a successful note. So that's why Carson Wentz left on a successful note. I think that drive was a touchdown drive, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a touchdown drive, and that was the last time we saw him on the field. So,
but let's get right to something you talked about. You talked about how we talked about Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke threw an interception. It was one of his bad throws. He had a lot of good runs, but he had that bad throw, that Taylor Heineke throw that it's I call it a Brett Favre throw without the arm. Right? But yeah, he had that turnover. We just talked about how well we thought Sam Howe looked. Man, is this discussion about ready? Can we have this discussion? Heineke versus Howe? Can we have this discussion?
I think the discussion is there already. I think if you watch this football game, that discussion is there. That discussion is it Sam Howell or is it Tyler Heineke? Even though on that play, go back and look at it. Heineke's arm did get hit, which made the ball sail over. But nonetheless, it was on a scoring drive, right?
Yeah.
At that situation, throw the ball away. Don't try to do anything else. Throw it away. I think it was first or second down. Throw it away. Get rid of it. You want to at least get 3 points out of it. Now you're only down by 1, right?
Yeah.
You're only down by 1 at that point. So you want to be able to be consistent in there. And again, he showed us what he is. I'm not saying he's not a bad quarterback, right? He's not terrible. He's not the worst quarterback in the league. But he's not the future of this franchise. He's not the future of this franchise that you could build a playoff run off on. Because he's limited. And we've all said he's limited. He knows the offense, but he's still limited in his offense. And I think Sam Howell is progressing a little bit further than Tyler Heineke. So.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you that the discussion is real and it needs to happen. And I even tweeted, like, am I messed up for saying that I don't want to see Taylor Heineke in this game? Like, is that messed up for me? And people started laughing. I'm like, I'm serious. I didn't want to see him in the game. This is before, like, as soon as I saw one throw, I was like, I just want to see the rookie. Like, I just want to see Sam Howell. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, you know what? We just go off the eye test. You're seeing similar talent, backups. He's better. Sorry, Sam Howell is better. You know what I mean? And he's better because he can do multiple things. It's not a knock on Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke is a gamer, man. Like, that dude got heart. I've always said if his arm matched his heart, he'd be a dangerous dude. But it doesn't. And Sam Howell can move. He's elusive. He got an arm. He's accurate. He's everything. He's in terms of he's got to learn the NFL game and see how fast it is. And no one has schemed for him, so it's different, right? Because it's preseason, so it's different. I'm not saying like he gonna play like this in the regular season, this, that, and the other. But if you simplify things, I do have some confidence that he can produce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have confidence that he can produce. I just think that he's, to me, in terms of the guy, he could be the guy in the future. Like, I didn't think that before, but I'm a believer in if you show me a little bit of preseason, I can see potential, I can see calm, I can see playmaking ability. I am a firm believer that does mean that you're on the way up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on the way up. Like, I watched Malik Willis against the Ravens, and I was like, yo, he's special. Oh, my man George just hit us up on YouTube. He posted something disastrous will have to happen to Sam Howell for him not to be Wentz's backup. I agree, George. Like, I think he should be that guy. I think Sam Howell should be the backup to Carson Wentz. I think the Taylor Heineke, you know what you got. You know what you're going to get with Taylor Heineke, right? You know, like, Taylor Heineke against the Dallas Cowboys, it doesn't work. We know this. Like, they know how to play that type of arm. Taylor Heineke against, fast, physical defenses that are, high quality defense, his limitations show out. Man, Sam Howell is a gamer, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, he a gamer. He's Houdini in that, in the pocket. And it's not like, oh, this is a fluke. If you watch him in North Carolina, and I watched a few highlights, and I've seen a couple of stuff on ESPN during the college football season, and dude does this. He does this. Like, dude is elusive in the pocket. So, man, I just think that, the discussion needs to start, and it needs to be really said. If I'm Coach Rivera, they need to have a real competition between the two. And if I'm looking, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, the next game, the next preseason game, may think about having him play against the twos just to see how he look.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should start at twos.
Yeah.
I think you should start with the twos and see what he looks like. All right. Look.
What was that?
Trash. But you should trash. I wasn't paying attention to put trash up.
Okay.
Somebody's spamming. But Sam Howell should be number 2. I'm sorry. I like Heineke. The question now, do they keep all 3 quarterbacks? I think that's always been the question with me.
Oh, you should.
When they what you keep? You keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster?
Yeah, I would. I keep 3. I'm a traditionalist. I believe in keeping 3 quarterbacks. And this team has been in a situation where they lost almost all their quarterbacks in 1 year. So I'm like, why not? Like, don't chance it. I will say this though. If you're looking at deep quarterback rooms, this may be the deepest quarterback room Washington's had in terms of, if somebody goes down, you can feel confident to say, oh, the next dude can really help me win some games. Like, I think Sam Howell can help you win football games. If you coach it correctly, I think he can help you win football games. Obviously, Taylor Heineke can help you win football games. We've seen that. So if you got a quarterback like Carson Wentz, who is injury prone, I think you should keep three. Oh, my man, Chris, Couch Coach Powell, man. What's up, Chris? Said, I agree. Sam should be the backup. Totally agree with you, man. Thanks, my man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm saying, like, I think you watch it and you watch football, you see it.
You see it. I mean, and we saw the young guys. And I think when you look at preseason, and this is what I like to see, I like to see it change, right? Today, if you watch this Washington Commanders team, you start to see a shift in the personnel because that's what you look for, right? I tell guys, we had a scrimmage the other night. The depth chart is in preseason is only there just because we need to play 11 guys somewhere. But it's interchangeable, right? You can go up or you can come down. And I think today, Robinson went up, Gibson went down, Howe went up, and Heineke went down. And that if you have a true depth chart and you're a true coach, you look at the game and say, you know what, we have to make this move in order for this organization to be better. Because you're making moves not for the preseason, you're making moves for the regular season. Which one of these guys is going to help us win football games in order to get to the playoff? Because if we're honest, the NFC East is wide open. I don't care what anybody says. The NFC East is wide open. It could be Dallas. It could be the Eagles. It could be the Washington Commanders team. It might even be the Giants team who has receivers and a running back. It depends on what Saquon Barkley shows up and all those because this is a second year coming from his injury.
He should be the real Saquon. He should get the real Saquon. Yeah, sure. He should get the race.
He's the real Saquon. So again, the NFC East to me is wide open. The NFC East is just like the AFC West. It is wide open, and you don't know which team is going to emerge.
Yeah, I just think that you got to take advantage of this. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Coach Rivera. And I know, he doesn't want to say that he has pressure, but it's pressure. Let's keep the buck. It's pressure. And I feel that he's going to coach this the best way he can and win football games. I think you got the indication of what happened with Gibson. So I do feel like if he feels that Sam Howell is just, doing what he does in practice, and again, shout out to Candy Waller from Seawall Sports, who told us on All Burgundy Go Errrything, a prior show that he looked the best in camp. So this is the consistent theme, right? That he continues to look good. Because I'm a firm believer, that camp crap, you can have it. I ain't a believer in camp like that. But when you but now just like the combine, if you mesh your what you do on Saturdays to your combine results, I'm like, boom, you're gonna probably be that dude. If you're going to match what you do in practice to competition, then you should be that dude. You should be good enough. And I feel like that's what Sam Howell is doing. He's showing you consistency. He's showing you a body of work from camp to training camp to to preseason games. He's taking what he's done in practice to games. So, that's who he is. So I feel like, Coach Rivera, all the pressure he has this is year 3 to win football games. I feel like if Sam Howell is the guy ahead of Taylor Heineke, he's going to do it. I know that he respects Taylor Heineke and loves Taylor Heineke, but it is what it is. I think that he would make that change.
Yeah, that change should be made. So hopefully they should make it. And hopefully so. They should make like I said, Antonio Gibson change. They should make that. One thing I did want to point out with this Commander team that I did like, the red zone efficiency. Red zone efficiency was good today. Inside the red zone efficiency 3 for 3 inside the red zone, which was good. We know this team had problems last year.
Very good point. They were in the red zone. I didn't think about that. They were.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring that out. Don't want everything to be all negative, right?
No, we were. I think we're real positive. I think we've been real positive. Yeah, I feel like we're assessing what we see. You know what I'm saying? I thought Percy Butler was fine. I thought he plays. I thought he missed the interception. He cut on it. He missed a pick. The rookie that we've all been that everybody talked about. And we featured on this show. He missed the pick. I thought he showed some good things. I I thought William Jackson was around the football. Thought he played well. I told you about McCain. To your point, I do just think the secondary as a whole was better than than I expected to be honest with you. So I just think there's some good things. There are some good things. Offensive line, to me, if they're gonna play like that, that's good for Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying? That's good for Carson Wentz or anybody behind there. I thought the running game was good. So I'm with you. I think there's a lot of positives. You know what I'm saying? I think there's just some things they just got to clean up. There are a lot of positives. So hopefully they get it situated because, we all want this team to be a winner. When they win, man, we do well in terms of viewership, and all Washington Commanders content creators get love. So I'm all for it, man. I really am. But hey, this was a dope show. We're going to try to do this. We'll try to bang out another one, after the next preseason game. Glenn, what's the next preseason game? It's the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, next preseason game is the Chiefs.
Yeah, so, that's in Kansas City, I believe. I think it's in Kansas City.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do another post-game show. And, yeah, we're going to hopefully things get a little better. Hopefully it'll work on it. And also, we'll have the podcast. We'll do our regular podcast during the week. You know what I'm saying? We'll probably preview the KC game, I think that makes sense. There's no need to be redundant. Right. Hey, but we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also, tweet us at ABG _Errrything, and on IG the same thing, ABG _Errrything. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold YouTube channel, man. We want the love, man. We love y'all. We make sure you give us the love, man. Hey, anyway, man. Also, don't forget to hit us up on our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page as well, man. Don't forget that as well. So, anyway, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Keep tuning in. Oh, yeah, I know what I want to say. Yeah, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything with powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. Yiddy, deuces. A mega. Lead us out, big homie.
Deuce.